Mr. Jensen Ackles! I have Adam do that when I go into restaurants. It's very helpful. Helps me get the table I want. How are you guys? Yeah. Good. We had a little shindig last night. Got to see a lot of familiar faces. We had a little crew get together, the Supernatural family. It was kind of an impromptu, unofficial rap party. Because we wrapped 15 seasons during COVID, and the ending of that looked like this. Okay, see ya, bye. It's really nice working with you for 15 years. Yeah. So we got to give the proper hugs and conversate, and that was just awesome. But I did stay up a little late. I'm gonna try. This is usually where I would rely on my big tall friend to handle most of the dialogue, because he's a chatty Cathy from time to time. But I'm gonna have to do it today. So, listen, I can't promise anything. All right, don't get your hopes up. In Jersey? Oh yeah, when he missed Jersey. Yeah, it's about time for me to collect on him. I think I might just skip. No, I'm kidding, I'm not. No, it is a pleasure to be here. He does send his love, speaking of Jared. He was really bummed when he called me on Friday. He was like, I think I was his first call. And he was like, bro, I got bad news. And I was like, what now? He's like, I tested positive for COVID. I'm like, because as we're working on set, we still, per studio protocol, which is really because of union protocol, we get tested 3 times a week. We get a PCR on Monday, we get an antigen on Wednesday and an antigen on Friday. And even if I'm not working or Jared's not working, we still have to do it and submit our results into this thing. So yeah, he tested positive, and he was like, and I was like, well, how do you feel? He's like, no, I couldn't even take the garbage out this morning. I was like, oh, bro, okay, well, get some sleep, get some rest, and I got you. So yeah, we'll send him some love. He'll be fine. And let's take some questions. I'm only taking questions for me, not for Jared. I'm kidding, I'll take Jared questions and I'll answer it for him. Yes, right here. You generally have a Jared question. Let's do that.
Well, you can definitely answer for Jared because you probably know the answer. My question is related to ACL. Mm-hmm. If you guys could pick your ideal 3 headliners for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, who would be your cream of the crop?
Oh my gosh. So ACL, for those who don't know, is Austin City Limits Music Festival. It's kind of like Austin's Coachella, so to speak. But it happens right in town. It's awesome. It happens 2 weekends out of the year, usually in early October. If you ever get a chance to go, it's a good music festival. That's tough. I'm gonna try to think of bands that I think are currently touring and not be like, oh, I'd like to see Elvis, and even that's a tough one. I gotta go with the Stones. Even though I think they may be done touring. You gotta go Stones. Cool. Elton John. And then, I don't know, I saw him once at ACL and it was magical, but I'd see Metallica again. I literally was just in the crowd like this. Everybody's moshing and getting crazy. Not me, I'm just like this. Just dumbfounded. Like I'm in an art museum staring at art. That's what it was to me. Yeah, I could probably have 14 other answers for you, but those are three off the top of my head. Yeah, name one.
For me?
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake.
JT.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake. I'd see him.
He's an amazing performer.
Yeah, no, he's an incredible performer. Bruno Mars, just in thinking in that genre, I would want to see him. I hear he's pretty entertaining. All right, moving on. Soulja Boy.
Hey Jensen, how's it going?
Good.
So I was curious, with you doing the Winchesters as of late and mostly doing executive producing, are you going to get back into the director's seat and direct any episodes of the Winchesters?
Fingers crossed. I would be right now if I wasn't busy chasing criminals in Albuquerque. But unfortunately, the schedule lined up perfectly to where I'm going to be doing Big Sky for the first order of Winchesters. That takes us basically to the end of the year. And fingers crossed, we get a back order for the Winchesters, which a back 5, a back 9, whatever that looks like. We're still waiting to hear. Nobody's been ordered on the back just yet. If we get it back, then I plan to do one. So hopefully in the new year, I'll be prepping to direct for Winchesters. That's something I really, really want to do. Spate was just there. He was just directing, and I was mad. I was a little upset that he did one before me, but it's all right. It's all right. Being busy is good. Yeah. What's this? Do I need to sit down?
I just thought, sure, you might want to.
He was with me last night. He's like, I'm gonna get this guy a chair. I'm not sure the coffee's gonna keep him on his feet. Thanks, Ned. I'm good. All right. Who wants to join me on stage? I'm kidding. Yes. Hi.
Can you hear me? So I asked this question 6 years ago at Nerd HQ, and I asked...
Nerd HQ is a panel in San Diego during the San Diego Comic-Con.
Those are good panels.
Those are good panels. Those are fun. Yeah, I miss those.
And I asked you, from the start of Supernatural to now, if you had anything that you could add to your resume. So, COVID, it's been years. Is there any special talents or anything that you think is funny that you could add to your resume?
Like special skills?
Tap dancing.
Resume.
Yeah, you learned to tap dance.
Yeah, I guess I could add tap dancing. Didn't ever expect to be able to add that, but I guess I can now. I don't, yeah, I'll say one that I'm kind of proud of. And I'm only saying this because I've been told I can say this, not because I'm like, yeah. Fight coordinator, fight choreographer. And that literally came from John Koyama, who was a stunt coordinator of The Boys. We had those, for those who have seen The Boys, there's some substantial fight sequences and action sequences in that. And because it's such a big show and has the budget, we got to rehearse those for like weeks in advance, which you never get on Supernatural or even Big Sky. Network television is a little different than streamer. So we got to get in there and like work out the movements and like figure out how we, okay, we're gonna do a punch here, and then he's gonna grab me and throw into the wall and stuff. And I just made suggestions because I've done punchy scenes a few times. And I enjoy them. And so after there was a big one in episode 6, and then we had the big one in episode 8, and Koyama he's a highly decorated stunt coordinator and one of the best I've ever worked with. He was like, dude, I feel like I need to give you fight choreographer credit on this show. And that was one of the biggest compliments I got. And it was just like, okay, let me see that again. All right. And my stunt doubles would they'd show us what they had worked out. And I was like, okay, what if I like did this and then I rolled in and then it was like a boom and then an elbow. And he's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I love that, do that. So it was a very, and I love that. That's one of the great things about doing what I get to do is collaborating and creating with just insanely talented people. I love that. Not just fighting, but like even doing a scene. You know, Jared and I would sit down. It was like we'd always find these little moments that weren't in the script, and it's awesome. I love that. So, yeah, I'll take fight choreographer. I'll throw that on the special skills list. Yeah, all the way back in the red.
My brain just left. Thank you for the Winchesters. I love the episodes coming up. I can't wait.
Thank you. I don't feel like that would have ever been an idea people would have taken a gamble on if it didn't have an audience that was following the mothership so lovingly as you guys. So thank you for creating a bit of a safety net for me. Even though there might be some holes in it. I know who you are.
I trust you completely with that. I can't wait. Also, thank you for letting me hug your security guy yesterday. I wanted to tell him he has amazing hugs, but I was in your presence and my brain turned to mush.
Well, he's right there. He is.
Thank you. It's
The
like
man gives good hugs.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Cliff is very jealous right now, wherever he is.
I was going to say, you can tell him how great his hugs are, because maybe he would appreciate it coming from you, but I wasn't sure.
Your hugs are amazing.
Okay, my question. So,
Okay.
I used to teach scuba diving in Australia on the Great Barrier Reef and in Hawaii, and I have a lot of stories because there are sharks. So I'm wondering if you have ever done an extreme sport, and if you could have a story about that. And if you don't, I'm also a middle school teacher, and I know your kids are all in school now, so maybe you have a story that you can share with us about that. So 2 options.
Oh, options. So many options. I'll try to answer both quickly. How about that? And since you brought up scuba diving and diving with sharks, I too have been in the water with some sharks. And it's a little unnerving. I haven't been in the water with a great white, although there was a time when I thought I wanted to, and I think that time has passed. But that is, it is a wild feeling to be in somebody else's territory and know that you are completely helpless. And if they wanted to do something to you, then there's nothing you can do about it. It was, I think it was a 9-foot, I forget exactly, it was a reef shark. That's what it was. It was a big, there were some black tips and there was a whole bunch of them, but they weren't interested in me. They were, doing their thing. You had your knife? What are you gonna do with that? Oh, sure, yeah, when they're eating your leg. Stop it. Oh, there goes my leg. But I got my knife. I will say though, that is a bizarre and out of body kind of feeling to dive with predators like that. So that, yeah, I have done that. It's crazy. And then as far as school kids, just had parent-teacher conferences last week. You said you're a teacher? Oh, God bless you. I can barely put up with my 3, and to have an entire class of kids that aren't even mine, I'd be like, there's the door. I'm not doing this. But I will say that we got some glowing reports from the teachers about our kids, yeah, I'm very, very proud of them. The twins are in kindergarten right now. Zeppelin, the teacher was like, he is the sweetest boy on the planet. I'm like, I don't know where he got that from. And then Arrow, apparently she's setting the bar for the Like they're like, oh, you know, they do these tests, and like, you know, they're to see what the level of their learning is. Aptitude tests, correct. And I forget I forget exactly what it was, but like, well, we at the school here, the benchmark is 5. We want them to be at around a 5, a 3 to 5 is nice. Anything over than 5 is great. She's 22. And they were like, we could talk about skipping a grade for her, but she has a twin brother. So we're like, yeah, no. But she might need some special attention because she's like getting bored. But she loves going to school and she's a sponge. So I'm scared about her. She's gonna be the death of me for sure. Anyway, thank you. Right here in the front, yeah. Yeah.
Hey Jensen.
Hey.
So I know there was a lot of pranks. No, I'm just kidding. Is there a question that you would be happy to never answer again?
A question that I'd be happy never to answer again?
Yeah, like you're sick of being asked.
I don't know that I'm like sick of it, but I'll just say that this one's like, every time I get this one, I'm like, ugh. And not in a bad way, because it's just hard to answer. And that's what's your favorite episode? Because it's like 327 episodes to choose from. It's like, they're all my babies. You know? Some less than others. But it's tough. And every time I get that question, I probably have given a different answer every time. So I don't know. That's one that I can think off the top of my head. Yeah, thanks. All right, let's go over here. Yes, sir. All the way in the, yep, green, yep.
Howdy.
Howdy.
So I had a question. When you first met Death in the pizzeria, was there any special preparation you did before the scene? Because the tenseness, or was Julian just enough as soon as you walked into the door of just being absolutely like,
Julian was enough. Like for real. I had all the plans that I had going into that scene went out the window as soon as I sat down in front of him. I was like, what the? And I was there are quite a few moments throughout Supernatural where if you look closely enough, you can see Dean disappear and Jensen appear as an audience member and just going like, kind of like at the Metallica concert. That's how I felt when I sat down across from Julian. He's so, like his performance and just his whole persona is just so layered and rich and yeah, I didn't have to do anything. I just had to like try to lob him back to him. He's fantastic. He's fantastic. One of our best guest stars, I think, we ever had. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Let's go right down the aisle here. Yeah. Hey.
So my first con ever, and I'm a nervous wreck, so I'm gonna try to keep it together.
This is your first con?
First con ever.
How many else? First timers? Really? Okay, I'm gonna say this, and you probably heard me say it before, but literally we've been around for almost 20 years. How is this your first? Did you find the show during COVID or something? You're only 17? Stop talking. Literally were born when the show started. You were a few weeks old? When did you start watching it? Season 12. Season 12.
I had to binge it in 2 months.
You binged the whole thing in 2 months? Quality. I love that. You what? I've been to Brazil. I was just there in, Oh, but you were... Oh, I wasn't there with you. Oh. 15 years ago? I don't know what I was doing 15 years. Yeah, I do. I was doing Supernatural right here in this city. Beautiful British Columbia. There's a reason they call it Supernatural British Columbia. People think that's just an ad that the tourism board came up with. No, it's because we shot here for 15 years. So go ahead.
All right, so feels like this day and age especially, it's important that everybody has an opinion on everything. You can't just be a bystander, and it's kind of geared towards...
Everybody has a platform.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, there's good and bad to it, and it gets kind of overwhelming even just for day-to-day life to feel like, I don't know, living intentionally or living genuinely.
Mm-hmm.
And especially you working in an industry where media plays a huge part of your job, promoting your work, all of that. What are some ways that you, or some tools and things that you use in your life to keep yourself living so genuinely and intentionally instead of just going with the flow or following the stream or kind of taking opinions just because it's the popular opinion at the time? I mean, I think we all struggle with that, but especially in your case where you work in media, how do you kind of check yourself or find tools to like live genuinely and intentionally?
Great question. I'll start by saying that, I'm not kidding. We all have a platform, right? Some are larger than others, but everybody has a space to express themselves. Certainly with social media, has given that to everybody. It is up to the individual to respect it. If you don't respect the platform and what it can do, because it can be damaging, and it can also be uplifting, and it's up to the individual to choose what they're going to use that platform for. I am very precious with the fact that I get to stand on this stage and address you all. I don't take that for granted, and I want to earn it. I don't deserve this, but I'm going to try to earn it every time I get on stage and every time I get in front of a mic or every time I post a thing on internet. I almost said the interwebs. On purpose. It is a responsibility that a lot of people didn't used to have. And now we all have it. And it's up to us to decide what we're going to do with that. Do we want to bring light into the world, or do we want to cast shadows? I choose to bring as much light as I possibly can, and I will continue to do that. Now, touching on what you said, living genuinely and not just being a mouthpiece for the popular idea. I try to navigate that. I'm not always great, but I try to navigate that as the best to my ability that I feel like doesn't have negative reaction, a negative outcome. Now, if I have an opinion about something that's wrong, and I want to speak out about that, then I will, because that means something to me. But largely, I keep my opinions to myself. We've all been taught that if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything. So I try to still live by that. I try to teach my kids that when you do say something, you should make every effort to make it positive. Yes. Hang on, we got a mic coming right here. Keep coming, couple more, right there. Hey.
I was wondering if you have a favorite quote that you've kind of lived by most of your life.
A favorite quote that I've lived by? Gosh, I don't know that there's one in particular. I certainly have some that pop up into my head. I just kind of touched on one, and this is one that I've told the whole cast of the Winchesters. I said, listen, you don't deserve to be here. You earned the right, but you got to continue to earn it. You earn it every day. It is a responsibility. And so I just try not to take things for granted in the way of like, oh yeah, of course, this is where I should be, and I deserve this. No, I'm going to continue to earn it. Also, I've said this before. Some of you have heard me say this, and you're probably going to laugh. But there was a Lincoln commercial that Matt McConaughey did, and in that commercial, he said a quote that just hit me so much that I actually wrote it down and put it up in my closet, and it said, "Taking care of yourself takes care of more than just yourself." And of course, to me, that means my kids, my family. So, you know, being good to yourself, not just like mentally, but like physically, like getting exercise, eating the right foods, not being negative, not, you know, trying to be a positive impact on the world. That's being good to yourself, but that also is good to the people that depend on you. And I know that I have a big responsibility, not just with myself, not just with my kids and my family, but to all of you, to my friends, to my extended family, to my work, to my coworkers, to my cast. They depend on me. And so I try to be good to myself so that I can be good for them and you. All right. So introspective this morning, my Lord. All right, how about, let's go far back glasses. Yeah, as she takes her glasses off. Hi.
Hi. My question is sort of circling back to what you were talking about, your new role as a fight coordinator. Because in Supernatural, the series, there were those big stuff that you could do that was just, I mean, it was amazing. And all the other actors have talked about how seeing you fight is amazing. Pretend fight, or whatever. But the stuff that draws me back is that stuff you just described with Jared talking about doing stuff in a scene. There's this one episode where you're walking down steps after talking to a person in a house, you and Jared, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, in lockstep, synchronized. It's like mundane choreography. That's what but it's, you can't do that. Most people can't do that with someone. Hey, let's go down these steps. Boom, boom, boom.
At the exact same, in the exact same rhythm and same, yeah.
And your shoulders, okay, are coordinated.
How many times have you watched this scene?
No, I mean, it's your shoulders are coordinated and you're speaking dialogue.
Uh-huh.
The only thing you're not doing is eating, tap dancing, but there.
Not true. There's probably not one scene of Supernatural that Jared and I don't have gum in our mouth. So we were also chewing gum.
You were also. So you see, my question is like, now is this a choreographer, this secret masterful choreographer you have that we don't know about, or is it you? Does this really generate from you at like improv? Like, and you guys.
It was, I guarantee you it was done subconsciously. And it is because Jared and I are very similar in the way we do, in the way we perform. And we also, you know, when you work together with somebody that long, you don't even think about doing stuff like that. And I'll give you an example. Whenever they're ready on set, they'll come and they'll knock on the trailer doors. Jared and I had 2 separate trailers right next to each other. And they would knock on his door, or mine, and then they'd go around and knock on the other ones, right? They'd say, hey, we're ready for you. And there's a moment, you know, some people are like, what are they doing? You knocked, are they coming? They're like, no, there's about a 60 to 120 second space and time where between the time that they knock and say, hey, we're ready for you, to the time that we walk out of the trailer. And in that time, you know, we might have been sitting there for half an hour, you know, on the phone, you know, doing something, learning the line, whatever it is. But we're not ready to go on set because as soon as we step out of that trailer, we're on. I'm kind of going off topic here, but it was unbelievably odd how many times Jared and I literally opened our doors and came out of the trailer at the exact same second. Like people would start betting on it and be like, that's weird, guys. We we just got into literally lockstep on just about everything we did because we were together so much, you know? So stuff like that happens, totally subconscious, yeah. It just happens. And I hope I find that again. I don't know that I ever will, which means we'll have to just reboot Supernatural. Yeah.
I can yell.
Good, Kristen. What's up?
So, the bartender at the hotel bar here played the coroner, season 12, episode 9.
The bartender at the hotel here
Yep.
was on Supernatural.
Yes, he was. And he didn't know there was a convention in town.
Krista, everyone in
Well,
Vancouver
that's what I'm getting at.
has been on Supernatural.
My good friend at the end of the aisle here, she's worked on the show.
See?
We were at the Cactus Club a few years ago. Guys asking how do you all know each other. He was Deputy Douche / the Sparkly Vampire.
I just like the name of his character.
Do you ever get to go anywhere and not know somebody at the restaurants? Or how often are you surprised and you're like, oh, wait, I should have known that guy?
I'd say in Vancouver, it's a lot more likely to walk into a restaurant and have the waiter come over and be like, you know, season 3, I was, you know. But I will say a lot of times I feel bad because I may not recognize them, but you gotta understand, like, you know, how many hundreds of people have I gotten to work with on screen? Plus, this might have been something that happened 12 years ago. And I'm like, I don't recognize you, nor would I had I even remembered who you were. I can't remember who I worked with last week. There's the great thing and also the crazy thing about being on a show for that long in the same city is a large part of the population has come through the Supernatural doors. And it gives me a little pride when I meet somebody like the hotel bartender and be like, I worked on that show. To know that what we did for that long employed so many people and gave them an opportunity to have an experience on a show. And I feel like, oh, you got to come over to our house and have a party. And that's how I feel like. And now I'm getting to go to other people's houses and party in their houses. Although I used this analogy the other day, I was like, yeah, they're like, how's it being on Big Sky? I'm like, yeah, it's different. It's like being at somebody else's dinner party. I feel like Jared and I were the hosts of our own for a long, long time, and now now I get to be the guest of honor somewhere else. Although at the Big Sky, I feel like I've showed up and been like, hey, this is great. What's for dinner? And they're like, actually, we're going to need you to cook the steaks. All right, I got this. So yeah, I love it. It's a little bit of pride in me to know that we've touched that many people, and that many people have been affected by the show or been employed by the show to some degree. It's pretty cool. Yeah. How we looking? No? Get out of here? All right. Real quick. Yes, just yell it out. Radio company. Glad you asked. Finally. That was a plant. I waited till the end. Thank you. I'll pay you later. Yeah, real quick. The information on ticket sales and stuff will go on online tomorrow. I believe the ticket sales are actually going to be available Friday. Right now, it's just the one event in Nashville. It'll be the Monday after the con in Nashville, and we're gonna, it'll be a little Christmas-themed first ever radio company concert. So I hope to see as many of you there as possible. That'll be fun. All right, thanks guys. We'll see you later.